Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one ring, let we rule them all. Hope people remember your towels. Get your Uru feathers and your Middle guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Use Valerian steel if it will get you to come. To the pit tank. To the pit tank. The Rocky Mountain pit tank.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy. And
This is Geek Tank.
Your special-sized podcast. We have someone in the dark because we forgot to remove them from the chat.
It's so dark in here. It's so dark.
Someone has to let you out of the darkness.
Oh, thank you. Well, I thought that was part of the torture regime that you told me about.
No, I think subconsciously we were paranoid since you were complaining about being put in the green room that we just forgot to put you in the green room.
Oh, okay. And you told me to create an entrance, and I was going to do an entrance.
That was probably the most darkest entrance we've ever had.
Well, all right. At least
literally.
I feel like I'm in the record books now. So yeah.
That was the darkest entrance. Yeah.
Hi guys. So hi Guy and
other guy
and Troy's. I mean, if I say Troy's, that's not the same thing.
It doesn't quite work.
Hi Troy's. Hi guys.
Hi Troy's.
Yeah. So all right. Well, that was good.
So why did you get us here, Dave? Why did you bring us here?
Why are we here, Dave? Why?
Well, I think here's a question for you.
Okay.
A lot of people wonder, what's the meaning of life? And I take that to mean, like, what's the purpose of life?
Not about the Monty Python movie.
No. It's about really the purpose, not the movie.
Okay.
And the question in my mind is, well, if somebody were to come down and tell you, well, this is the purpose of life, would that make you feel better? I mean, if you actually were told that, your job is or your purpose is to lift boxes or something like that, or to mow lawns, I mean,
I think it's dependent on the purpose.
The purpose of the purpose?
Yeah, I mean, would you want to be told? It's one of those catch-22s. It's like, well, yes, if it's something awesome, and no, if it's something not awesome.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, when people say they want to know the meaning of life, they or the purpose of life, what's our purpose? What's the guiding purpose? They want it to be something, I think they have a specific thing in mind. But if God showed up and said, it's to eat ham sandwiches, I don't think people would be thrilled about that.
Well, some of us would be like, good, I got a head start on that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like technically speaking, I'm all about ham sandwiches personally.
Well,
I figured the Gandhi answer is the purpose of life is to find the purpose of life.
And he didn't eat a lot of ham sandwiches though.
No. He might have done better had he done that, but I don't know.
Only at that last part.
I don't know enough about Gandhi to say something that's not going to offend like a billion people.
We were already way off color.
That didn't stop me.
This is not a nerdy topic here. I feel like I've taken us far afield. This is I facilitate philosophy discussions once a week, so this is that's
where that's stemming from.
Yeah.
They were doing a whole philosophy of Star Trek, but they were doing it live. If it was going to be online, I was going to try to recruit Guy to join the meeting with me because I thought that sounded fun.
See, when you say live, it makes it sound like live in front of a studio audience, and it was actually it's going to be at a bar.
It's going to be at a physical location that you have to
in
be
person.
At.
In person.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, because that's been I'm also, in addition to being a philosopher, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I've been trying to deal with that as like, well, when I say I'm playing live, that's not the same as in person because I could be doing live streaming.
Yep,
that is definitely true. So I always think about live and what live means.
You always think about this? This is a common.
Yes, because
it's his purpose.
That definition is like a thing that. I mean, because we're live right now.
We are,
and we're alive.
But in like an hour after the show's done, people could watch the show again, and then they would be hearing us recorded saying that we're live.
That's true. So, but you know what? This is the thing. Okay, listen to me here, and think about this later.
Okay.
Hear me now and believe me later.
Exactly. But no, the think about this. They release things called live albums, but yet they're recorded and not listened to live. They're not live streaming, but yet they're live albums. And I think those are like, I guess it's a recording of something that was live at the time. But is there ever a recording that's not done live? I guess if it's like a computer or something. Artificial intelligence.
That's one of the differences I noticed with television versus records, because they'll say a live recording at such and such venue, whereas they will say recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's what we're doing. This is recorded in front of the live studio audience, and if you're here now, you're part of the live studio audience, and if you're not, then you missed out.
You're not cool.
Oh, yeah. I think that's actually the number one reason they say that in front of, sitcoms and whatnot, is that they're trying to tell the audience that's watching on television, on broadcast television, you're not cool.
Right? That is exactly what it was.
I think it's important to understand how much of a selling point that has been throughout the history of media, that being uncool, being a little square, this is more of a football goal. I guess that's a rectangle. It's not really square. Can you guys do a square? That's kind of a square. This is like the heart thing.
It's the heart, yeah.
And then this is the square. And this is like the glasses, or better yet, like this. I already have glasses.
This is for Chelsea right now, because this is the thing she's into. Milking a cat.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking
it's
completely different.
the K-pop bands do it. It's supposed to be like little hearts.
Oh, okay. This is why. Okay. So my mind was going to
somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks. And for those who don't know, I've known you since the days of the old long form improv group that Chaz. Whoa, there goes my brain. That Chaz used
the
to
Harlequin Players.
And the Harlequin Players is where
that was when we were both. I think I was 5 and you were 6, and we did this improv
to save the farm.
It was to save the farm, and we're talking about a little Lego farm. We had
to raise money because the foreclosure was coming in. Yeah, it was Chaz Kemp ran a long form, sort of serious improv group with some comedy thrown in. It was I'd say 50-50 serious and comedy, which was interesting. Chaz Kemp's local artist and used to be he's still a musician, but he's not active in a band as far as I know.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Pandora Celtica is broken up or
retired.
Well, I think it retired.
This is the interesting thing about that. It was I mean, there were many interesting things, of course. It was improvised every week. There was something different. But what was interesting was that it was built around something called Commedia dell'arte, which I'm not super familiar with because I'm not a theater guy. But apparently there were what would you call it? Templates or archetypes. Everybody was an archetype. And that they were supposed to play the same basic character every week. But it got really complicated because we were doubling up on characters, right? We had this archetype that we were supposed to be, but then we'd have seemed like we would come up with some other characters that we were supposed to be at the same time. And that was the first bit of improv that I had ever done. And man, it was mind-busting, I'll tell you that. I came away with a psychedelic experience, a little bit of split personality every time.
I wrote one of the scripts for that guy did the art for the poster called The Way of the Enchanted Fist.
Oh.
And you were one of the ninja bad guys in it, David.
Oh, yeah.
The comedy out of that was the fact that you're not a martial artist at all, but you attacked the role with 100% enthusiasm. Which I felt it was one of those of laughing. You turned it into a laughing with you as opposed to a laughing at you, which I thought was fantastic.
Well, that's important, I think.
Mm-hmm. To laugh at me and
to laugh at you.
To laugh with you.
Whiffing is good. Whiffing is good, but it was but I definitely was was that the one where I took off my shirt? I can't remember. I remember that was auditioning. Maybe I did that.
You did somersaults on the floor.
Going
yeah, with a cane, like a cane was your weapon.
I remember that. Yeah, that was probably that was one of my first 5 improv experiences. And this is one thing to understand is I'm not that great at improv. Troy, you and your friend Matt were really
Matt's amazing. Yeah, Matt, I miss doing improv with him, and I don't know if he's still, of course, who is performing anymore after the last year, but
Yeah.
yeah, I met him in the Denver Theater Sports Group, and
Okay.
he came with me when we mutinied against them and started our own group.
Well, Guy, you're pretty good at now. Okay, even though I don't consider myself to be very good at improv, I was doing an improv online improv show with Troy and with Guy, called Very Scary with Jerry McCrary. And in fact, I'm trying to reboot it and doing a really piss poor job of it. But Guy, you did. I thought I really enjoyed the couple episodes that you were on. You're pretty good at the whole theater thing too. But you don't do it very often, right?
Well, not really. I mean, I did do the improv with Troy for a while.
Oh,
I
okay.
was part of his improv group for a little while.
My improv group invaded the house that Guy lived in, and we recruited it kind of like, a giant amoeba, just absorbing anyone around us.
Well, you also have to kind of kiss the ass of the person letting you use their space. So,
and talent be damned.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Didn't really matter whether we had talent or not.
Well, yeah.
Improvise the talent.
Well, but of course.
But I mean, I actually have a theater background. Strangely, How could you not? I was in theater during high school and stuff like that. So
I can't. You've got such an expressive voice. I don't see how you. I mean, if you hadn't used it in a theatrical fashion, it would be wasted. So,
well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm kind of trying to butter up the hosts here. Troy, you're pretty cool too.
Well, yeah, because I got my finger on the button here. I can.
You got your finger on what?
I could disconnect you. One push of the button.
Don't think I won't.
But where I was leading to, that turned into like a whole 10-minute rant that was really cool, which is kind of our thing, was that David Coile, being a musician, helped us create our theme song and multiple variations of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then we started bringing in awesome folks like Losing Lara, who is from the local Wizard Rock. The name wanted to escape from me because she's the one who educated me on what Wizard Rock was, as I had never heard of it before. And she was nice enough to do one of our versions of the song. But yeah, music. And then you and I, of course, we used to be the voices of the Sheridan Celebrates Parade as the announcers. And
yeah, they booted us this year.
Last year, yeah. They apparently they don't want people gathering in small groups for
something about some virus
Weird.
or not even a virus. What is it? It's some sort of. Actually, COVID's not a virus, is it? Is it?
I think it is.
It
is a virus. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
It's not just a bacterial infection. It's not something that penicillin will help you out with.
No.
But I'm sure some people are trying.
I was thinking maybe it was like just an injury, like, you break your arm, brushing up against a rock or something, and it's like, I've got COVID.
I've noticed since we missed our last two shows because we went on vacation, our live audience is not here.
Somebody's on Facebook, looks like.
It's probably me.
No. Actually, I'm looking on Facebook here, unless this is the thing I share. Yeah, we've got a John Calgill.
Oh, hi, John. How you doing?
And Brent Kamen. Hey, Brent.
Well, why is my list of viewers coming up as 0?
Are you looking at the
seeing them over here on the StreamYard viewer?
Yeah, and
I got Facebook on, but hey, let's see here. It says "Yay audience." John says "Yay audience." Cheers. It's like one of those Scroll of Truth comics. All right.
Wait a moment.
I don't know that. And then in Hal's voice, Brent says hello, hello, Dave. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It's good to be said hello to.
Did that just show up on your end there, Dave?
No, did it just show up? I don't know. It actually looks like it's been on there for several minutes.
I can see it over here. Test.
I'm sure the audience loves us trying to figure out who's watching. Hello.
Well, they were probably wondering why we were ignoring them, and it's because we're not seeing them. We normally would. You see this right side here. This
everybody out there in streaming land, look in my eyes. I want to tell you something.
You're gonna hypnotize them?
Shh. I want to tell you something. I think you're special. Not just a little bit, but a lot. I think you're going to change the world, not just tomorrow, but right now. Because every flap of a butterfly's wing, or wings, as the case may be. I mean, if it's just one wing, that's kind of tragic. But if a butterfly has multiple wings, it will flap and it will create a hurricane down in South America. That's another type of tragedy. And maybe it's not something you want to aspire to. But the point is that just by watching this program, you're making a difference in the world. And I think you should be, despite, maybe it's just that you're giving, Guy a dry throat. Maybe that's all the difference that you're making. But the point is
that a euphemism?
Could be.
Okay.
Guy, you need somebody to moisten your throat. Anyway, the point is, thank you, one and all. And thank Troy and Guy for having me on here to talk aimlessly about whatever comes into our heads.
To come up with the term dry throat, giving someone dry throat.
We're probably wondering why we were ignoring them, and it's because we're not.
I can hear myself.
Hey, are we allowed to just sort of listen to the show and that be the show?
What a great way to fill time. Just listen to what you've already done. So then it's like having a flashback in the show. You're using footage you've already had to make up room.
Quick rewind. I want to hear what I just said. Can we re-record that?
So you had brought up a topic when we were discussing beforehand that I thought was kind of interesting of how superheroes, some superheroes are based off of real people or inspired by real people of the time, such as Tony Stark being based loosely off of Ron Howard Hughes.
Yeah, no,
Ron
Howard.
Howard Hughes.
That would be interesting. That's more. That'd be Archie, maybe. Archie probably predates Ron Howard. Yeah.
But the question was like, well, what kind of superheroes would we make from today's people?
Yeah. So like if Tony Stark was, so if Tony Stark was Howard Hughes, who would be Elon Musk? I mean, what would be the superhero that would come from Elon Musk? Or maybe he just would be Iron Man today. But I was thinking of, some years ago, I was trying to come up with some superheroes that were kind of based on real characters. And I was thinking of like Banksy the artist. Like he's really interesting because he basically, I mean, he's clearly a rich person that runs around and he vandalizes, places with art, right? He's got a crew. Nobody's ever caught him, as far as I know. Maybe that's changed since the last time I looked into Banksy. But he there's a lot of it that's kind of this clandestine operation of art. And I think it's fascinating. And I think he'd make an interesting superhero. But I'm trying to think, like, what would a Banksy-like superhero be like if you're using art to save, to fight crime? Well, maybe not fight crime, but to save the world in some way. How would you do that?
How far did you get in the British superhero TV show Misfits?
Maybe looked at a trailer. I know you highly recommended it. I kind of through osmosis a little bit.
There's a character who wears a hoodie and is in disguise for several episodes and is extremely good at parkour. And I could have, and riding bicycles and doing stunts on bicycles. So I could see a Banksy character being nimble and quick like that in order to get away. Kind of like if you took away who would that be? Like Daredevil. I could see a Daredevil-esque version of Banksy using his paint cans as weapons.
So that's actually that would be. I mean, would Banksy be kind of like Jackie Chan? So that's like it sort of uses all of these different random things, art. I mean, it would be art tools, but I mean, the thing about Banksy is he does kind of use like random, things around.
But since we're making them, we're going to make it Michelle Yao and have Banksy turn out to be female.
Yeah, sure. I like it. What would be the name? What would be the name of this character?
Manksky.
Okay. Oh, who's the there's a kind of a punk rock woman punk rocker called Mitzi. Yeah.
Mitski.
And she's got kind of a cool sound. So there we go. We could turn Mitski into a mix of a Banksy Mitski mix.
If we handed the project off to either Frank Miller or Garth Ennis, we could call her Spanksy.
I'm not really sure how I'm running with this particular thing. I'm just,
You're there.
Well, who's a famous person that you're into, Guy?
Well, Elon Musk was one, right?
Elon Musk. You already kind of went there, yeah.
Well, but what would he? Let's make him distinct though from Iron Man. I mean, I don't know. Because like Howard Hughes was a pilot. That was the big thing about him. He was a pilot. He wasn't just a rich guy. He was a guy that was really into aviation. So, the idea of this guy just sort of suiting up and flying around certainly made a lot of sense.
Right, because he
there's-
already had sort of the flight skills.
Yeah.
Well, there's kind of this argument against Elon Musk saying he's not really as smart as he comes across, and that it's because he has so much money and can hire think tanks and actually hire really smart people to do stuff.
I hadn't thought that he was supposed to be super smart. Is that part of his reputation?
I think some people give him credit that he doesn't deserve.
I think
Yeah,
Bill
I think
Gates,
that's-
I kind of think
I think
of as
that's
like
sort
super
of
smart.
part of the problem is there's I think the biggest thing about Musk is that he's a showman, right? I mean, like that's his thing. He knows how to drum up the business, which is critical. I'm good at a lot of things, but I can drum up nothing, and so like it makes a big difference on how much money I make. And if I went to a bank right now, they'd be like, "You what?" It wouldn't matter what kind of assets I had.
Of course, a big part of that too is the hedge. You started ahead of the game with $1 million to invest into getting your art and everything out there. Then you would have been able to ramp up and possibly do all of that because you didn't have the start.
Well, if you can hire a
It is
PR
true.
person, that certainly helps. But of course,
That's what he is. He's the PR person.
Well, what did he break? What broke Elon Musk? When did he first come on the scene? What was his first big?
He was come on, I almost have it.
FRS. Let's see. I mean, SpaceX is recent, but there was something more.
First thing I heard was Tesla.
Was Tesla the first thing?
No.
That's just the first thing I
He
heard.
got his money off of something like Facebook, and I can't PayPal. Thank you, PayPal.
There you go. Okay, so
Thank you, Brent.
I think he had like two brothers, so it was like the three of them or something like that had divided it up. And he, out of the three brothers, he's the one who I reinvested it in stuff like Tesla and SpaceX.
this is getting like real Shakespearean real quick.
So I was wondering if he'd be more of like a watered down, weird version of if you mixed Iron Man, Doctor Doom, and Lex Luthor all together.
Well, you see, I think we got to come up with something. You think he'd be a bad guy, though, is what you're thinking?
I think he'd be one of
feel
those.
like he's right on the edge of bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff he's done, it crosses the line of like fair employment practices and for treating his employees well.
Well, but I think that of the billionaires we're talking about, I think Elon Musk actually is a little bit more. Well, I mean, Bill Gates is probably the most philanthropic at the moment, but that's after he did all of his evil stuff, right? He kind of retired from being evil to become a philanthropist, right? So
Yeah, I'm done with evil.
Well,
I'm
I
going
mean,
to just leave it alone now.
actually, that'd be kind of a fun superhero right there. It's like
I mean, like you can almost see like he's a superhero, and the young upstart kids like, I'm so frustrated with the world. I should just nuke them all. And he goes, kid, let me tell you, I once was evil, and I got over it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
will too.
No, I'm liking this. I'm loving this. So Bill Gates is he's retired from evil.
He
That
saw
would be
how-
like
He saw that it was a management nightmare.
he'd be
that
the
to take over
Gates.
the world.
He'd be. I'm sorry again. I'm
It'd
sorry.
be a management nightmare had he actually succeeded in taking over the world. So he could have taken over the world, and then he's like, "This is way more work than it's worth. I'm not going to bother." And then
So
it's easier to stop people from taking over the world.
okay. So this is the name, the gatekeeper,
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper.
Well, that's his butler.
Yep.
Okay, so his
And
sidekick
his
is the
butler-
gatekeeper. So
His
he's just the-
butler has like a horrible habit of like doing things like, oh yeah, well if you're a real superhero, how much can Tony Stark lift?
Yeah.
That's
He's
so
always
it's
doing
all-
stuff like that. You know.
So
Oh,
he's
yeah?
just
Well,
so as a
how many
superhero,
adventures are there?
he just goes around challenging other billionaires to let's play some ping pong.
Right.
Challenge
Oh
their
yeah.
fandom.
You think you're good at ping pong? What's your
Oh.
highest score?
Your highest score.
Who won the championship in 1962?
No, I'm just trying to think of like what is the high score in I mean I can't remember. Is ping pong, do you have to win by 2 points or can you win just by 1 point?
You're asking us.
No,
That's too much
because it's like
physical
the
activity.
whole thing about ping pong is like you play to, I think it's like 21, and whoever gets to 21 first wins. That's why I think it's funny.
Oh.
But if it's possible that you do, I can't remember. You may have to win by 2 points, and if you have to win by 2 points, then there must factually be a highest scoring ping pong game or match, and now I have to
In
know.
theory.
So all of you listening out there in Stream World. What is the if you could research this for us, what's the highest scoring ping pong game or table tennis as
So
as
your
as
first
some
player, the
may
first
call it?
player to win at 11 points and be at least 2 points ahead of your opponent. So if
Oh.
both players have won 10 points, then the first player to get to 2-point lead wins the game.
So if you got to 11 points and then it was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, you could theoretically have an 85, 90, 100-point game,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
provided
yeah.
that they back and forth exactly.
Oh, I just saw here Brent has posted that there are 2,755 billionaires in the world, and none of those a-holes became Batman. But this is
Yep.
the thing. This is we wouldn't know.
Jerks.
We wouldn't know if he became Batman or one of them became Batman.
Well, if he was
He or
really,
she.
really successful Batman who never got caught, yeah.
Yeah, because you should be able to buy people off. I mean,
But one of Batman's big things is having a reputation. So no one, if anything, these millionaires would become something more like Dexter, but not necessarily killing people.
why
but
why do
necessarily
we
killing.
automatically assume that they'd become sociopaths or Dexter?
Well,
Well,
I mean, in the method of what they do in a way that it can't be traced back to them. So tipping off to police that this person has this stolen property in their house, or they wouldn't bust in through the window and leave evidence and beat them up. They would use their wealth to capture them in other ways.
But Dexter actually worked for the police. So do you think that, like, so if we start seeing Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos working at a police department, then we can kind of assume they're doing the Dexter thing, right?
When you have that much money, you don't become Batman. You just buy someone and make them Batman.
You buy someone and make them Batman. There's the quote of the year.
But how do you know they won't turn on?
Well, we've only got like what 20 something days left in the year.
Well,
Almost.
you made the quote for the next 20 days.
So, okay, if you were to actually, let's say you had unlimited funds and you wanted to buy a Batman.
Uh-huh.
Who would you go for? An Olympic athlete? Is that like
No, because
like Michael Phelps or something? That'd be Aquaman.
the way that the TV show Ninja Warrior has kind of opened my eyes to the athleticism of people who just aren't professional athletes.
Uh-huh.
They're just people that are naturally talented that haven't pursued that path of being an athlete.
Have they had an all-Olympic episode?
I have no idea. I'm not that big of a fan of the American version.
Then why even bring it up, Troy?
Because they do cool stuff. Well, really more effective than Batman, you'd want to make the Assassins, who is the League of Shadows. Because
so to build a better Batman, you have to build a better League of Shadows
build
first.
a better League of Shadows, and then
So you have to put. So all the evil that some of these billionaires are doing, they're trying to create an evil infrastructure so that they can squeeze out a Batman somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That almost seems like a worthy cause.
And then of course you have to research if actually causing someone to have horrible trauma makes them a better Batman, or if getting somebody who's actually very well adjusted would be a better Batman.
See, I like the idea that, so Bill Gates is like, Bill Gates hasn't retired from evil, or maybe he has retired from evil, but you have somebody else. Jeff Bezos just retired, right? It's like, okay, well, I haven't retired from evil. I've merely decided to use evil for good purposes, my evil isn't as evil as it used to be. It's now to squeeze out that diamond in the rough that can fight me effectively. So this is kind of a that you see that is kind of so that's just convoluted enough to be in a comic book. Yeah.
It's the billionaire thing of buying a yacht for your yacht.
Oh God, yeah, they do have those, don't they?
Yes, they do. You get a smaller yacht to put into your bigger yacht, so that way, I guess if you need to do the Star Trek thing and separate the dish from the body, I don't.
Hey, these things could happen. Sometimes we need to separate the dish from the body.
Yeah.
Separate
Emergency
the
saucer
dish from the
separation is what
body.
that's called.
That's another euphemism.
For something. All of you out there in Stream World, we want to know what does separating.
No, we don't.
What?
No, we really don't.
Well, I'll have to admit, I'm looking at the Facebook thing, but for some reason it won't show me all of the comments. It only shows me some of them. So I don't know if people are commenting on YouTube. I'm missing all of that.
Yeah,
Well, that's the problem is we're not getting the feed in like we
normally.
had
Normally.
before.
Yeah, can you see the same? You should be able to see the same setup that we have, where we have the three little icons at the top for Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. All of
At
those
the top? Nope.
At the top right. Okay, I guess not. So our comments section here should feed in all the comments from those three locations.
Oh, I see.
Which is why I was really puzzled that we didn't have anyone.
Because Donald's now with us too.
Yeah. Well, I'll just peek into Facebook here, but it sounds like the bad guy who runs the minions. Yes.
And,
you
that's
would need
what
a
I've done
stunt
here is
man
I've
and
split
has
the screen, so the right side of my screen is Facebook,
Donald
and the left side is StreamYard.
someone's watching on Twitch.
Donald Pickett Jr. says you would need a stunt man and has free running skills and style with martial arts background. So, okay, stuntman actually makes a lot of sense. You know, sort of like the Fall Guy.
Yep, I remember that movie. That
I like
TV
that
show.
It was a TV show. Yeah, it was
6 million.
Lee Majors.
Yeah,
Lee
he
Majors.
didn't have the cool sounds though when he moved.
But I mean, he'd be. Yeah. I wonder if we can bring Lee Majors out of retirement to
Or
be
this,
our
the
Batman.
more accurately, like a stuntman from Hollywood, the Tarantino movie. Which
Oh, Zoe, what's her name?
no, why am I forgetting what it was called? The True Story Hollywood. I'm sure.
Once Upon a
Something
Time in
like that.
Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Brad
Pitt stuntman?
Brad Pitt's character? Oh, okay.
Because
What about Zoe though? Actually, that character, the actress Zoe something or other.
Yeah, from Australia.
She's really cool, and she's always game in his films. I mean, she's she does some amazing. You saw Death Proof, right?
Right, and I saw her interview about how they had attached a wire harness to her on the hood.
Oh, so she cheated. So never mind.
Which she didn't want to die.
I don't know. That's not.
He cheated.
You know, if you're, I expect my stunt people to be ballsy enough to lie about that kind of stuff.
So it's not well. So you think everybody should be like Jackie Chan and get injured in order for the stunt to count?
I think if you don't have a bunch of outtakes of you, having your arm chopped off while doing a stunt, I think it's I think you're kind of a. I can't even say what I want to say.
Saying a female Batman would really heat things up for movie screens. And I was going to say, don't we have Batgirl? Isn't that what she is?
Well, there is a Batwoman. She matured.
Hey, these days, come on, these days we got in the age of fluid pronouns, she could be Batman.
Bat person.
Bat thing.
Bat X.
Bat crazy.
That was an Elvis film,
right? Blue suede shoes.
Bats.
All right.
They fly into the sky and they're blind in the eye. They eat those flies as they fly, and
I don't think it works.
Yeah, I almost had a song there.
What justifies us? What qualifies something as a song?
Well, it was tuneful.
Okay.
It had a lot of catchy hook.
I've heard a lot of songs that aren't tuneful.
Well, okay, yeah, but I mean, if it is tuneful, then it falls square into the song category.
Okay.
There are other things that are not tuneful that, yes, they might constitute music and songs, but they're fringe cases. Usually, if you have words and music, that usually falls squarely within the definition of a song. Now, there are things that have words but no music
that may be songs, and we're talking, like rap or something like that, or word talk singing.
Acapella.
Acapella. Well, acapella is usually tuneful with. I mean, you can sing. I mean, you can sing a song in the shower. You don't have to have instruments.
Well, I'm glad I've got your permission now. I'm going to go do that right now.
Well,
Excuse me, I'll be back.
you certainly have my permission to take a shower.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But then that leaves none for everyone else.
How long do you take in the shower?
No, if I take it.
What are you
then
doing in there, Troy?
I can't return it.
right.
Oh, yeah.
That's always the problem.
Okay. Yeah.
So what other?
So Troy's going to be okay. So if Troy was a superhero that ran around stealing showers, what would be the name of the superhero?
Well, I'd wear a giant golden suit. So
Golden suit.
You see where this is going? No,
The golden shower.
I feel like that's been done. All right.
Probably.
So
I'm going to regret saying that I think that it was probably done. You're right.
don't search it.
We don't have to. Yeah.
Nope.
What other popular figure?
Well, let's get out of the rich people. Let's go with.
We had
Banksy. We had Banksy. We had rich people. We had. I mean, there could be a politician or something that doubles as a superhero. I mean, Donald Trump might be like a really.
It seems like low hanging fruit, unless if you're trying to make him a hero, not a villain.
Well, I mean, he could be. Okay, let me pitch this to you. The toupee. That would be the name of the. It's actually his toupee is.
But it's spelled TOO space PAY.
It could be that. But I was thinking it's like it's a sentient, it's an alien being that has attached itself to his head, and it actually is trying to. So it's undercover. It's an undercover rug, and it's
Don't search that either on the internet.
And so it's trying to okay. So first off, I don't know what the politics of everybody out there in Streamland is, but I'm not a fan of Trump. And so the idea would be that this is a alien entity that's attached itself to Donald Trump's head and is trying to stave off the deleterious effects of his time in office.
Well, I think it'd be interesting if going with your theory that one of them, and well, for the sake of being nice to Trump, I will say the toupee is the evil one. And that he's the good one, and he's constantly struggling for control.
Okay,
but it causes amnesia, and this is why he will say something on videotape, get recorded, and then later say, "I didn't say that." And he's being 100% honest because he doesn't remember saying that because he wasn't in control at that time.
You are much more diplomatic than I am.
I sure am.
Well, it's your show. You're the host, so
right.
You need to. I'm a guest. I can be booted off. I'll any hate mail that comes in, I'll in
post we'll have to put a thing that just says Geek Tank does not endorse David's.
Yeah, this would be a good time for us to say that Geek Tank is sponsored by.
Not Donald Trump, I hope. I don't know. If I did, I'm sorry. I ruined it.
No, Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Home, Shiny Garden, and your mom. And none of those people are sharing their opinion with us. I'm just saying, correct. Nothing we have said here
represents
the opinion of Kieran Games, Geekway Home, Shiny Garden, or your mom.
Especially not from me, except for the mom part.
I was just with her last night, so
I can speak for your mom.
So yeah, we actually to rabbit hole a little bit off of that. We actually had a discussion back when within a bit of time frame about what sponsors would we turn down. Do we have a level of which we would say no?
Well, what's your least favorite food, Troy? I mean, something that really disgusts you. Same with you guy. Okay, yeah. So if like the cannibal, society.
If cannibal fillet was to.
Yeah, cannibal fillet came in. Yeah. Or what's the name of the disease you get from eating people?
Hertzberg, Jacob.
Yeah. It's like
mad cow. It's mad cow.
Mad cow. So
mad person.
So mad cow fillet. Yeah, if they came to you, mad cow burgers.
Mad Cow Burgers just
Yeah.
sounds unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You know, because of Mad Cow, for the longest time, I was not allowed to donate blood because I lived in Europe during that time frame, and they say that you can have it in your system and it will never show up, but you can transmit it. So that was frustrating to me because giving blood was one of the easiest things I could do to help people. You know, since,
Yeah. Forget about helping people move. That's
no,
Troy. I have to admit, every time I've moved, you've always kind of bailed out at the last minute.
that's why the next morning you find a pint of blood on your doorstep. I'm trying to make up for it.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's
not always
very
mine.
tasty. I feel like I have to drink it right away, or it's going to spoil.
the key here is that it's not always his.
Not always mine.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
that's why it tastes
it's
different.
better than the urine samples you give me.
Yeah. Well, asparagus.
So guys, hey, and Troy's.
I've lost my feed. I lost my live feed now.
So famous people. Let's see, celebrities. Who would be a celebrity? Which celebrity do you think you would peg as a superhero? A secret superhero, unsuspected.
The problem is a lot of celebrities are rich just because of their celebrity.
Jen Lo, Jennifer Lawrence,
Jen Lo, J Lo.
Yeah.
Wait, J Lo.
No,
Jen Lo. Oh, Jen Law. J Law.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jen Law.
Yeah, J Lo is
Jen Law.
Lopez.
Yeah, Jen Law, Jennifer Lawrence. She's definitely a superhero,
and she'd be a secret lawyer.
Keanu Reeves.
See, who was somebody who hasn't played a superhero? I want somebody who you wouldn't suspect to be a superhero.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, well, she's rich. She's another.
She's rich.
She would be the what's a movie that she was in? She was in The Color Purple.
Oh, yeah.
She was in the what was that horror movie she was in?
I don't know.
Toni Morrison. It was a Toni Morrison book that was adapted.
The Color
The
Purple.
Beloved.
Oh.
She could play. Maybe she's like a ghost, and she's secretly a ghost.
So it's the H.P. Lovecraft story, The Color Purple Out of Space.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
The Color.
Yeah, that's right. She was in The Stand. She was the wise woman.
I would like to see. Oh, she was. Oh yeah. Okay. I like The Color Purple from Space. That would be interesting to do a remake
that was
of
Whoopi
that
Goldberg,
movie.
wasn't it?
Well, it was both of them. That was the movie that broke both of them.
Oh, okay.
Because Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, that was Whoopi. Broke them. I didn't mean broke, not like broke.
After that one, they were never the same.
That was their big break. I'm sorry. That was both of theirs big breaks. Because and Whoopi Goldberg had been a stand-up comedian before that, and then and not a very well-known one, but she became a well-known dramatic actress at that point, and then didn't really do a lot of drama after that, and then except for Star Trek, and then Oprah Winfrey decided to go, even though she had huge accolades for her performance in there too, that she went off to dominate the talk show field. So
universe.
Yeah.
So I'm just having trouble thinking of someone famous who doesn't have money. Just because that's an interest. Because once you're famous, usually you can tap into having money of some amount by using your fame to get money.
Well, who's famous from you can get famous people that were they were heroes in some sort of
the airplane pilot.
Sully.
Sully.
Was it Sully or Scully?
Sully.
Yeah, Sully. Yes. So he actually was. That's a case where he is a superhero, but he just happened to be on the plane at the time, and he used his superhero powers to save everybody.
Yeah.
So what would Sully's powers be when he's a pilot by?
I'm sorry, Sullenberger.
Well, but his nickname was Sully.
Sullenberger.
Sully. Yeah.
That's a superhero name right there, anyway.
He's just asking
Burger.
To be a superhero.
Yeah.
Well, we're back to the burger thing. He's the Mad Cow.
Mad Cow Burger.
Well, I like the idea because that was another common thing with Daredevil. We talked about Daredevil, but he was the the blind lawyer, you know. So you've got what if it was like a
blind airplane
a
pilot.
blind airline pilot or something, and he's using his radar. He uses his radar sense
Right.
or something else, you know, or maybe
He
it's
has
not.
to open the window and scream out the window every few seconds to echolocate when he.
And the other, his co-pilot's like, it's kind of cold in here. I wish you wouldn't do that. Why do you even have why do you even have a window you can open? What's going on? So that means he must have somebody on the inside who helps him out by designing the planes a certain way.
So, yeah.
What do you mean? This is gold.
It's cold.
The golden shower.
We just had that discussion
Oh, sorry.
about
It's a
golden
callback.
showers.
That's- So, speaking of showers,
Showers.
you ever wonder how the term?
Which, by the way, I'd like to point out that one of the people in the comments
motor pool.
agreed
We call
with
it-
me that you needed to take a shower. Unfortunately, because I can't look back at the comments.
He said, "Please take a
It was
shower,
Brent.
Troy, just not on camera." But then what? I have to keep my OnlyFans happy. So
Well, why do you both have OnlyFans accounts?
no,
I
don't know
No,
if Guy
but we
does.
have only fans. Like all
You have
best-
friends too.
or
God, you have
best
friends.
fan,
You have friends as well.
Oscillating
It's not
fan,
just fans.
a
You have
silly
family.
fan. a
they
fan
become
belt.
fanly then.
So is that actually be kind of interesting if your family were your fans, if they genuinely were like, "Oh my, you're a genius."
Yeah, I did have my dad watch us a couple of times and then he fell asleep.
Yeah, but because
Okay.
you were such a genius, right? He was overwhelmed by the
Overwhelmed.
entertainment genius of.
He also fell asleep though in Les Mis, so there's that.
Hmm.
That's still one of my. I was just recalling that story. We went to see Les Mis in Houston at the theater,
Mhm.
and Dad fell right asleep.
Well, that's
And then there's
evidence.
a scene where the barricades come up, and there's a sniper from behind us, and so they fire a snapshot from the back of the house, and my dad bolted straight.
So that's what happened.
It was like, I'm like,
Wow.
well, you shouldn't be sleeping. It is kind of like a thing.
But I
Yeah.
think that the point though is that there's evidence there. That's evidence that he falls asleep in the presence of genius. And so every time he fell asleep around you, then
Mhm.
you could say, well, there's a pattern.
Yeah, that's true. There's a certain amount of truth to that.
There's a
That is
superhero
true.
for you. A superhero that falls asleep when someone tells a lie. And so the government co-ops him to use him as the human lie detector. But the problem is
Oh,
you have
okay.
to wake him up in between every question if the person's lying.
I like it, but I think it only works if the person has like an astral form that they can project out when they fall asleep. It's like if somebody lies, they have an out of body experience, and they can float around like a ghost.
Out of ghost experience. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
It's like every time.
I remember a long time ago, I got on this kick of writing down ideas of this back when I was just starting to make short films, of coming up with a series of jobs, and it'd be the same guy who suffers from narcolepsy trying to do the job. And so it'd be called the narcoleptic, and you input it. So the narcoleptic assassin, he misses sniping the guy because he fell asleep. And then, so that kind of stuff. But the problem is it's making fun of an actual condition. So I decided to, it's one of those, it's my 1980s brain thinking of things. Because I recently went back and watched UHF, Married by Weird Al.
Yeah.
And there's things in there that just don't fly today because of our different changings of, just like going back and watching Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, I have a real
Well,
problem with Blazing Saddles still.
But Blazing Saddles was intentionally provocative, but it was intended to, explore, racial relations at the time. And so some of the stuff that's offensive was meant to be offensive even at the time. And
Everybody says that, and I'm still very uncomfortable with it.
well, it's that's okay. We can get into the philosophy stuff if you want to, but that's one thing that I find really interesting is that stuff that was, considered progressive and politically progressive at certain times, like the X-Men, for instance, right? Like the
Sure.
X-Men back in the 70s and the early 80s, they were, considered to be really progressive. But, if you look back at those issues, there are these caricatures. They look like caricatures of this multi-ethnic group of people. They're, But there's no question that was really groundbreaking at the time. But now it's hopelessly, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of stuff.
See, that's
Yeah.
one of the questions of you can't look at intent as much as the effect it has, because you're asking for the effect to be altered by the intent, which the person who's being affected, that's asking a lot from them. This is one of the big reasons Slug, who I know you're not a big fan of anyway, got retired, because a sociopath, homicidal, maniac, dysfunctional Uncle Fester on the R-rated level of kidnapping and killing stuff kind of character done as comedy hit a point to where it's just too triggery of things that it could happen to somebody with the jokes, and
which is a shame because your Slug was pretty funny, and I liked your Slug.
Well,
and now for you to pull your Slug off again, you'd have to get a wig.
Yeah, if I wanted the long hair again.
Well, that was sort of part of the character.
But Slug there is recorded Slug movies out there. Sonny and I both did 2 different movies, and Eric Farwell, my friend, wrote one of them, the roommate situation where we had Cena playing a vampire.
That's right. Yeah. That was.
And
I almost wrote the theme song for that, but I got it to you late.
So. Well, it still made it in there.
Did it?
Yeah. The little organ sounding kind of piece.
Yeah. Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to watch it again.
Of course, it's the problem with it on YouTube is we did stick music in it that we didn't have the rights to, like a cover of "Happy Together."
Have you been dinged with that?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. There was the man. There was.
So Donald's asking who Slug is. So we go all the way back to 1996, and I had an improv friend who came up with the stand-up comedy idea of a guy who is broken out of the mental hospital and is trying to make a life as a stand-up comic, but he also kills the women that he dates and sticks them in the basement, and even though they're dead, in his mind they're still alive. So really dark humor in that way, but I wrote jokes for him on some of the stuff, like, I just drug a dead body across town, and boy, are my arms tired. It's kind of stand-up comedy stuff. So that was Slug. And around 98, when I joined Harlequin Players, it was 97 or 98, I contacted them and said, hey, I really like that character I was writing jokes for that you were doing. Is it cool with you if I do that same character, like my version of that character? And he said, yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore anyway. You can have, intellectual rights to it. I didn't care, as I didn't want to step on toes and steal someone else's jokes or character. So I got his permission, and then I ran with it. And my version changed quite a bit from his version just because things evolve. So that's Slug. And it's like, I go on a lot more dates if I have more storage space.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's Slug. That's Slug.
Then we created Sonny's character, who was more like Dexter, who was the socially functional nutcase who would kill things, and he was Slug's brother. And then they had roommates. They lived together as roommates, and Cena was the vampire that Slug brought home because he fed her and she followed him home. And so yeah.
That was.
But we have 5 minutes left to dive into philosophy.
Do we say that again?
5-minute philosophy.
Oh, is that how you close the show?
No, it's special because we have you. And you're on a philosophy thing.
I have to bring up a philosophy subject?
No,
So, what do you think about the self-replicating robots they came up with? Did you talk about that already?
I want one.
You can have many.
I only need one, right?
and you'll have many more. They're going to be like tribbles, yeah. But did you hear that story? I did. Did you talk about that already on an episode?
We have not.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Made from frogs or toads, one of the two.
Well, yeah, frog cells, I suppose. Yeah.
Frog cells.
They didn't just chop up a frog and say, "Hey, replicate."
They tried, but it didn't work. It croaked.
But the funny thing about that is that's what they did with Jurassic Park, right? Mm-hmm. They used frog cells to
to bring the dinosaurs back to life, and that's why they flipped genders, right? Or not genders, sex.
Yeah, because frogs will do that.
I mean,
Yeah, because they were finding the eggs, and they're like, "Who's laying eggs? They shouldn't be able to do that."
exactly. Yeah, I mean, but they certainly tasted like
Uh-oh.
chicken, though.
We are having trouble streaming to Twitch. This may be an issue on Twitch's end. All right. Well, if you're on Twitch, we're sorry. We're getting a notification.
Well, to be
from the stream.
fair, we are almost done.
Well, yeah, almost done.
mean,
but they'll
it
never
is-
hear about how the frogs and the eggs turned out.
Well, which came first, the frogs or the eggs?
Yes.
I mean, I'm just wondering.
Well, see, that's always a weird question because eggs clearly predate any specific animal. Let's be honest. I mean, or we don't remember what the animal was that originally had the first egg. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say the egg came before the chicken. It came before the frog. It came before the dinosaur. Maybe not the dinosaur. Dinosaur is kind of a catch-all, though. Right? I mean,
Okay.
look,
What
folks.
about-
Hey, I've just solved one of these existential questions, and you guys are just like, whatever.
No, we're soking it in.
We're
It's
absorbing
it's a lot to-
it.
it's
We're
a lot to
absorbing
take
it.
in.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, that's what Guy said. No, I like it. It's clearly you have to decide on where life began and your take on that if you're going to crack the problem of the egg.
No, I'm just saying the chickens, though. Chickens are a fairly recent development.
Yeah,
That's all
they're-
I'm saying.
They're tiny.
Chickens
They're,
clearly came after the egg.
they're clearly dinosaurs. The lesser version.
I mean, they used to be something else. They used to be a pterodon or something like that, and they became a chicken eventually. But the point is that there were eggs before chickens.
And this explains why most things taste like chicken. Because it's all
No,
connected.
it's that logic doesn't follow.
No? Oh.
No, then the chickens would have to predate the eggs.
Well, no, the taste, they say it tastes like chicken because chicken's the most recent thing they had. But really, chickens taste like the thing before it because it passed the taste down. But people don't think linearly like that. They think backwards when they're thinking about these things.
So what you're saying is that the taste of chicken has a common ancestor.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the taste is something that's been carried down from some
Kernel.
Precursor, some evolutionary precursor.
Mhm.
So there was a kernel. There was a kernel back in the Mesozoic period, and I don't even know if there are dinosaurs during the Mesozoic. But I'm going to go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's always dinosaurs. There's still dinosaurs now, but they live under the earth and they control the government.
I want to say this. It's 8:59, and all I have to say is thank God this is almost over.
Right.
This has been a horrendous time. You have just been stifling me for the whole hour. You won't let me say a damn thing.
I know.
I know,
Can't
we're
let you get a
horrible.
word in.
We are horrible.
Geek Tank.
This is why Chelsea left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we, as we're wrapping up here, we will say, we are speaking of Chelsea. We are changing our routine starting next Monday. And actually, next Monday, you said you wouldn't be available, right, Guy?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'll be en route somewhere, probably in Oklahoma,
Singing a song about Oklahoma.
singing a song about Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
And so we decided we used to record in the mornings because that worked way better for Guy and myself. We'd get rid of our kids and then we'd have some free time.
Do you get new kids every week?
Every
How does
week.
that work?
It's just like Venture Brothers. We get rid of them
Okay.
and we have a cloning vat and get new ones. So we're going to start recording live Mondays 10 to 11 right after Guy's art project because he says he only really needs 1 hour on Mondays because you're doing the springs. So you can
And
join.
usually whenever I'm on my normal pattern, which I haven't been recently, but I can get back to it.
Mhm.
I do my Springs comic from 9 to 10 and it only takes about an hour.
Yeah, so if
So-
you want a double feature, you can come join Guy as he does live art drawing of his Springs comic. And then right after that, we'll roll into live hour of Geek Tank, but we'll also schedule it to re-air at 8 o'clock on Mondays. And if you want to be with us and join us live, we'll be doing that from 10 to 11. And when we can, we'll try to jump into the chat room at 8 o'clock, at least for a while, so we can still chat with people who are available at that time to transition period.
You can do a MST 3000 with
Ourselves?
a rebroadcast of
We could talk about what we wish we would have said.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what would have been cool if we had said that one thing. Damn it.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you, David,
Hey.
for joining us.
Thank you all. This has actually been a really, really fun time. This has
Yeah.
lifted my spirits quite a bit. I actually had kind of a crummy evening. So,
Oh.
yeah,
That's a sad
I actually
thing.
stapled my finger. Can you believe it? You probably can. But nevertheless, the point is that you guys have distracted me from what's
Your
surely
staple
going
diet.
to lead to tetanus. So,
Yeah.
Well, was it because it was so horrible you realized things actually were really good before? We put things in perspective.
That's exactly.
Even
You
with a
guys have
stapled
you've just
finger.
lowered the bar.
Right.
so
We totally
much.
lowered the bar. Now you're like, oh, life wasn't so bad.
If I can laugh during this show, then I guess I could laugh at anything.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's true.
Yeah.
So next time we have you on, I know that you're a big movie buff. We should pick some movies beforehand that we've all seen, and do some movie talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
but not the
review
buff,
the
please.
Killing of the Sacred Deer.
I haven't heard of that one.
Well, that's your assignment.
Oh, okay.
It's not the geekiest movie in the world.
Okay.
Nevertheless.
That's so. David, if you want, you can hang out, and we'll be there after the show. And for the rest of you guys,
I'm up for the after show party. Are you going to broadcast that too?
Right, we're gonna have an after show party.
We
no,
joked
you can't
that
broadcast it because it's not PG-13.
we joked that I've always wanted to do something called Geek Tank After Night, where we drop our PG-13 rating and we just let Chelsea go to town. So yeah, I'd like to thank you, Patsy and Donald and Brent. As always, Brent, and I believe you said John was in here too. I haven't gotten to his name yet. I'm seeing if I missed anybody.
Well, there's
Way
like
up at the
40.
top.
There were 47 comments, but I can only see 4 at a time, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, John was in here. Brent was in here,
Awesome. Thank you so much
Patsy
for
was
coming
here.
to watch the show.
and
Hey,
Donald came in. Too,
I don't know
and
any of you.
I
but
know
I think
a
you
lot
guys-
of you.
You guys are pretty
and
special.
at the
Special
last minute,
people.
we had Karen Games.
And I think that you should go off and be
Say-
somebody's neighbor. Maybe not mine.
You got to do the smash that like and subscribe button. And
Oh,
I figured out that's why we're not popular. We don't follow
Because we don't ever say
the cookie
hit
cutter.
the like and
doesn't
subscribe
smash mean something different anyway?
I'll show you after the show.
Yeah.
So that's when we went to Rated R. So
After
that's
dark.
all the time we got.
Geek
Good
Tank
night,
After Dark.
everybody. That's all the
Bye.
time we got for today. I've been Guy,
I've been Troy.
and
I-
this is
I'm
Geek
still
Tank.
Dave. I'm still Dave.